Hello again. Welcome back for another round. Welcome back to the continuation of the Lost Mines of Phandelver.
In a messy bedroom.
It's a messy bedroom. Everybody has messy bedrooms. Unless you happen to be married to Martha Stewart or a Martha Stewart wannabe.
No, then you have a messy jail cell.
Yes.
Turn your music off.
Excuse me again. So, just as a quick recap, it's the D&D 5th Ed, obviously, Lost Mines of Phandelver. The only actual player is Cherie,
Hi!
playing a Dragonborn druid,
Hi!
who may or may not have NPCs that join her on her quest, depending upon what she does in-game.
Hi!
And being a spaz.
Yay! Llamas.
Do you want to give a quick recap?
Well, that's your job. So, do the word. The word.
I'm the word.
You are the bird is the word.
I am the bird is the word.
Yes. Bird is the word.
Well, it left off, she had just got to outside of Phandelver, or sorry, Phandalin, I should say, and they found the horses that had once belonged to Sildar and Gundren. However, Sildar and Gundren were not to be found, just the dead horses. Bazant, an ally of hers, had decided to go on ahead to try to find his friend Sildar, while Krython, Tybalt, Chasen, and Kyron, her character, would take the wagons back to Phandalin.
What?
After which, Kyron had,
What?
what would be the right word here?
What?
Fathomed? What?
Your computer just crashed because of a problem. Please wait. That's the first time I've ever seen it do that.
Had figured out that there was something awry and amiss with Bazant and his behaviors and just some of the things that were said and mentioned and done. When she took the tiefling warlock Tybalt aside to discuss this, she got an arrow, or sorry, she's playing a male character, so Kyron got an arrow in the chest. He got an arrow. If it was in the head, you'd probably be dead. It was in the torso area because it didn't kill you. Subsequently, Chasen, Tybalt, and Kyron then proceeded to kill Krython because Krython for some reason attacks them, but they did not manage to extract the reason as to why.
Don't care, he's trying to kill me.
And that's where the last session left off. So, we pick up with them just outside of Phandalin, after traveling for near 14 days to get there. Bazant, not to be trusted, at least that's what they're assuming, went on ahead to follow the trail the goblins left after they took Sildar and Gundren, with words to leave oak branches as a guiding point to identify which direction he went.
If you crash again, I'm going to be angry.
I wonder why it crashed. That's not normal.
I know. No, it's loading. It's just being taking forever.
The game left off. 4 wagons, 4 horses, 3 people.
As soon as my Excel loads, yes. What was that?
She fell.
Are you drunk? Are you drunk? Okay, I'm trying to pull. Doggy fight. Yeah. You're drunk. You're drunk.
Is it loaded up?
It's loading a white screen. Just give it a moment. It could just be hot.
So, what are you doing after this starts and you just finished killing Krython, the Elvish archer?
Hide the body.
So, you're going over and doing what?
We looted his body.
Yeah, Tybalt took his arrows and his longsword. He's like, mine now. Just finished putting them on him. And you did level. We took care of your leveling.
What do you guys say about taking this body and hucking it into the woods or something?
You hear from Tybalt, I'm okay with that. Hucking it into the woods means gets it off the road. We don't get caught immediately. And in the meantime, if they're expecting him, we can just say he went on with Bazant.
Exactly.
Tybalt picks up the body, carries it off over towards the woods.
Says, do you need a hand?
Nah, I got this. As he pats Krython on the ass,
I don't want to know what you're doing with that body.
takes him over into the woods, hucks the body just in haphazardly into the woods.
You need to dig a hole.
Why?
So scavengers can get it, but it'll be hidden.
It's in the brush.
Or at least cover it.
It's in the brush. It's fine.
I'm snapping down some brush and covering it over so it's not visible from the road. I'm walking by like 6 different angles.
The wizard's basically just sitting on one of the wagons watching.
Yes.
Smart.
What?
Covering it. In case Bazin turns tail and comes back.
Is there any wildlife in the area?
Obviously, there's some indigenous wildlife that'd be kicking around. Stop licking.
That's not a wildlife. Okay, let's put it this way. Is there any carnivorous wildlife in the area that I can see?
That you can see? No, not that you can see. You would know that there would be some in the area no matter what. Give it time, they'll be attracted to the scent of blood and such.
Yeah. I'm grabbing my knife and eviscerating him to draw on the wildlife.
Okay. When you get back to the wagon, Jason looks over at you. I still say we do what you suggested.
The horses already said they'd go quick.
I mean going through the wagons.
Let's get up a little bit farther. We have another, what, couple miles?
Couple hours.
We'll go up for an hour, then we'll pull over.
Because I think you're right. Going through these wagons and seeing if we can identify
whatever it was.
if anything is out of the ordinary with the provisions.
Don't forget to look under the wagon and in hidden areas behind the wheels.
Mm-hmm. So you take the wagons and move up for about an hour or so.
Yes.
And then once you get about an hour up the trail, do you stop and start going through the wagons?
Yes.
4 wagons is a lot of provisions.
There's 3 of us.
Even with 3 of you, it's probably still going to take you about 5 hours to go through 4 big wagons full of provisions. Unless you're going to pick one wagon and only do one, and have all 3 of you focus on one wagon.
Thank you. Wait a minute, guys. It's gonna take us for fucking ever if we do it this way.
Yes, you hear from the wizard. It will.
What one was Bassett on most frequently?
Points to the one that he was on.
Isn't this the one that Crichton sat on as well to protect whenever he was getting our backs?
There's a chance of it. Let's go to D4 and find out. Nope, it wasn't.
Well, let's start with checking the one that Bassett was on.
You hear from Jason. I frankly don't care if it's going to take us time.
Yeah, but we should start with this one.
I agree, we can start with that one, but I frankly don't care if it's going to take us 5 hours. If you're going to do something, you do it properly, or you don't do it. So, we'll take our time, we'll check them, we'll start with this one, and then we'll go from there depending upon what, or if we find anything.
I vote all 3 of us work on one at a time.
It'll still take us the same amount of time.
Yes, it'll still take us the same amount of time, but at least this way we're not separated. can't be picked off. Dogs might bark.
I'm okay with that. You hear from Tybalt. Agreed. At least that way, if one of us overlooks something, the other person might not. So, you're going to slowly start the process of digging through 4 giant wagons full of provisions.
Yes. Starting with the one Basset was on, then the one Kreisen pitched his arrows into earlier. If we don't find it in the first one.
Where is this other caltrop? The dark green caltrop. Thank you. You gotta love D4s. They're fucking little caltrops.
Screw that. I love my dice bag.
Hmm?
I love my dice bag.
Yes. Scale mail dice bags are awesome.
From NASA. Well, not the dice bags from NASA. The scales
The
are
from NASA.
the scales are from leftovers from NASA Insight. But yes. It's okay, yours has Hobbit ones.
I know. I love my Hobbit ones. So, look at your character sheet. And are you just going through it all? Because you can do this in one of 2 ways. You can go through it all and take an investigation roll to go through it.
I don't think I have investigation.
If you don't have investigation just defaults to your intelligence.
Okay.
So you would just make an intelligence check. You don't get to add your proficiency bonus. However, if you use your investigation to go through the wagon, it's going to take you twice as long because you're scrutinizing things, because you're investigating it. Or you subsequently can go with the timetable I initially gave you and just use your passive perception, which is just you going through it, looking at it, and seeing if anything stands out as out of the ordinary that you notice. If going through it, you notice something that just looks off or looks wrong, your passive perception, and if it is obvious enough or your perception is high enough, you'll be able to identify it. So, what do you want to do?
Considering I don't want Basset to get too far ahead and double back and find us, just in case. Passive.
And what is your passive perception?
Wisdom.
Yes.
13.
You have a 13. Tybalt has a 12, and Chasen has a 15. You don't have to roll anything.
Okay.
You are starting on number 3, and
Stupid.
as you are going through it and you're just looking through it, you are seeing just a whole bunch of everyday provisions. When you get about 70-75% of the way through the first wagon, the one that Basant was on the most, you see Chasen do this. Grabs a very standard, everyday, run-of-the-mill pot. Pretty big one, about that big. Good for like a family of 1 or 2 or 3 to cook a meal in. Grabs the pot, is about to put it down to go grab the next thing, and he stops, looks at it a little bit more, reaches onto his belt, pulls out his dagger.
I'm peeking at him. What's up?
Don't know. He pops the bottom off of it. Pries the bottom completely off of the pot, which should not be able to be done. You hear from Tybalt, either you're really strong, or that's really bad craftsmanship.
Is it by chance the same pot that I carry on me?
No. Yeah. It's from the wagon itself.
No, I know, but is it the same style? Like, would I have gotten it from the same...
No, not necessarily. And you see him do this. As As he holds up a piece of parchment.
What was that?
I don't know, but it was hidden underneath a false bottom on a pot. Conveniently in the same wagon that Bazin spent most of his time on.
It looks torn.
Yeah. Definitely was torn. It's a map. Looks like a cave structure of some type. Looks like some type of a cave structure.
Can I see?
Passes it over to you.
Does my character recognize this?
Nope.
The only place I know of caves like that is the mountains over there, in the general direction of the whatchamacallit mountains.
Yeah, well, that cave could be anywhere. That could be completely underground. There's no markings on that map that specifically state it's above ground or below ground.
There's an old ruins by Phandelver, and there's where's the rest of this damn map?
I don't know.
You're better at this stuff than I am. How long ago was that ripped?
That would be at best, I think that would be an insight. 2 seconds. 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 Sleight of hand stealth. Investigation. Yeah, that definitely would be falling under insight. And Jason has +5 for his insight. You see him investigating it. It's good quality parchment from what I can tell. The fibers are still mostly intact. Worn down a bit. It wasn't ripped recently.
So the other half is probably not in here.
No. It was probably hidden here to keep this half safe. Gundren or Sildar would have done it. Based on your interpretation of Gundren saying normal provisions, my bet Gundren hid this in here.
How was that pried? Do me a favor. Do you see any markings of brass or copper around where you found the pry? Because when metal hits metal, it leaves a mark.
Takes a look at it. No, it was seated in with really good craftsmanship. Shows you the bottom of it, of the pot. It shows you the actual bottom of the pot that got pried off, and it slides in, and then that's how it connects. It's just basically like a tooth and what's it called? Tooth and hook, where it uses pressure to keep itself there by using counter pressure. As a pot, this would not hold up; it would leak in a heartbeat. But passively looking, you're not going to notice it easily. You said Gundren said normal provisions.
I'm handing my parchment over to the wizard. Blanking on his name at the moment.
Jason.
Jason. Which one of these pieces of parchment most resembles that one?
Looks at the parchment. In what regard?
If I were to copy this map.
You want to make a copy of it.
Mm-hmm. with a few flaws and errors.
Let's see here. Perception. This one.
I'm gonna go about making another map onto a piece of parchment, taking my knife and cutting along the edge of the rip, and then wetting my finger and rubbing the sides of it with my knife to tear the edges.
Okay. To make a copy of the map, to try to make it as accurate as you can, I just want to have a simple dexterity save because it's about your ability to copy.
I had my bonus, right?
Your dexterity, if you just your dexterity modifier,
Yeah.
and if you have proficiency in dexterity, that as well, because you're making a dexterity save.
Yeah, it's not bad. 21.
21. So if anyone wants to try to tell if this is a forgery, they would either have to have an appropriate skill, or they would have to make a 21. So, i.e., a 21 on an investigation, a 21 on a perception, if they already knew what the original map looked like. So, odds are it's not going to happen. A 21 is classified as hard.
I'm purposely putting in flaws.
It also means that on a passive look, if they've never seen the original, they're not going to notice.
I purposely put in flaws so that the map does not lead in the same direction.
What kind of flaws?
So like, connecting here, rubble here, have this connect up here, have this part of these over here. So the map just doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay. It could be anywhere.
Well done, Kyron. You hear from Jason.
Slide that back in.
Puts it back in. Tybalt, you're the strongest. Make sure that's as good as it can get. Tybalt grabs the pot and just. There we go. That ain't moving anytime soon. Puts everything back in. You hear from Jason. I think we got lucky and found what we were looking for. I say we get to Phandelver. Drop this shit off.
Get our gold.
Get our gold and then go track down Bazant.
Yep.
I need to stop him myself. Do you have intentions on stopping him?
His friend tried to kill me. Yes, I do have intentions.
Good. No intentions on leaving a loose end.
It's one of those wizard motto things, isn't it?
It is. Never leave a loose end. If you leave a loose end, inevitably it's going to come back and bite you in the ass at the worst opportune time. If you have the potential and the ability,
why
never.
Why does my background say hermit?
Because you're a hermit.
I'm a druid, not a hermit.
Hermit is the background, druid is the class.
A hermit means I never came in my house.
Hermit means you stayed in your grove.
Slid that in there when I didn't notice. I just looked up background. I'm a hermit. What?
That's been there since the first game.
I know. I didn't see it.
Alright. Let's get to Phandelver. The wizard settles in, grabs his pipe, packs himself a bowl. And continues to just guide whatever horses he has the rest of the way.
Well, the horses are told to go quick and follow each other.
And you're only about another hour and a half away from Phandelver, based on where you were whenever you initially stopped. And as you're coming down, you obviously have passed a few farmhouses and farmsteads on the way. And you can see the main town of Phandelver come into view. It's a small-ish town. Right off the bat, just as you're coming in, you can see what looks like the main trade store, which is where you would get your rations, your provisions, your rope, everything else you would generally need to go on an adventure. It's right off the main path. As soon as you come in, you can see the sign hanging and swinging in the wind. For the most part, you can easily make out what it says. It's definitely weather worn. It really needs to be updated. But Aside from a couple letters being mostly faded out, you can easily read Barthen's Provisions. And it's a pretty big store in comparison to the rest. Directly across from it is a smithy. Other than that, it's more stuff is in the town. Obviously, as you need it, you can easily find it. The town's not that big. And whenever you're coming into the town, it's a typical town. So there's going to be people moving about, getting their stuff done. You're entering the town around 3, 4:30 in the afternoon. So most people are still out on the farm, still working, still getting stuff done. They haven't decided to go home yet for dinner because the sun isn't starting to set. But you do see some people out and about moving around. And obviously, once they do catch your eye that you're coming into town with, you know, three people and 4 wagon loads, you are being looked at a lot by the people as they go here and there with their wares. But they don't have any sneers or anything. They'll just look at you, and you can see kids running around and playing sticks and hoops, trying to have a little bit of fun. Parents are watching them sometimes. You do see a mixture of races as well. Primarily, you find humans. What you do notice is a couple half elves because their hair is short or tucked. And you do see some dwarves sitting on chairs outside of some buildings, leaning back, smoking on some pipes.
She's purposely trying to be loud. I apologize.
Yeah, Brissa, you like to make noise whenever it's time to be
Come
quiet.
here, Rissa. Come here. Come chew this. Don't chase that around. Come here. Look.
Get it. Come get it.
Where's Quaid?
He's out there.
Oh, come on.
Get it.
Get it.
Get it, dum-dum.
There, I distracted her.
So, what are you going to do? Wizard looks over. There's Barthens. They're expecting you as well.
What do you want to do? All going at once?
They're expecting you primarily. Since
Me.
you're the druid that is required to escort this. So if anyone doesn't show up, it's acceptable. If you don't, there's a problem. Tybalt, you should stay out here and stay with the wagons just to make sure. I'll go in with Kieran. Tybalt looks over at you, basically giving you an eye gesture of, do you trust him?
Walks in. If you smell anything suspicious going on, or we're in too long, head in. Otherwise, make sure the horses are well fed. Watered.
He takes the horses by their leads and starts tying them up outside the provisions, starts undoing the bridles and unlatching them from the wagons. Takes a few minutes to do that. The wizard jumps down, pulls the hood back off of his head. Typical. He's only young. He's no older than 20 years of age. Short-ish black hair.
How did you end up getting hired into this as we're walking towards the place?
I wanted out of that city. I was working at the library as an assistant scribe.
So which one of them hired you?
Sildar. One of the taverns I frequented after work to get a couple drinks and some hot food. I heard word that they were trying to put together a wagon train looking for adventurers. Pay wasn't too high, so they weren't getting a lot of takers. 10 gold, it's not much money. Fortnight of travel, it's a fairly long time as well. 4 wagons is a lot to watch over. All I saw was opportunity to get out of Neverwinter. I was broke, had no money, and you can't be a traveling wizard stuck in a fucking city. So by the gods, first chance I got to leave that city and get on the road and get to a different city, meet some travelers that I could travel with, potentially stay with, or just get into a new town to find new people to travel with, expand my breadth of knowledge, I took it. I don't give a flying god's cock about the money. The gold means nothing to me. I can make money in one way or another. What matters is getting out of that city and traveling. So I met him, jumped on the opportunity.
Sildar and who?
Gundren. I didn't see Gundren till the second time. Bazant. I didn't see Gundren until the second time. Whenever I first talked with Sildar, and he agreed that having a wizard would be beneficial, even if I am just a first grade wizard, fresh out of schooling. Having some magic potential protecting the train is better than having no magic potential protecting the train. And I was willing to accept 10 gold, whereas a lot of powerful wizards, third grade and higher, would demand a lot more.
I'm brain farting on the T thing.
Tybalt.
Thank you.
So I jumped on the opportunity.
Makes sense.
I was sick of working in a library. I spent enough years in dusty, stuffy libraries. Learning my trade. I don't want to spend the rest of my years in there if I don't have to.
What magic do you focus on?
My gift is with illusions. But I have other talents as well. That's why I went into becoming a wizard. I have a natural affinity for it. Opens up the door with his staff, walks in. As he puts the staff down to walk in, he puts light on the top of the staff so that way the place is ignited in a 20-foot bright light so that way there be no little bit of light from the sconces and with the remaining light of the failing day coming in through the windows that have the shutters pretty much shut.
It's awful dark in here. Oh, it was awful dark in here.
Dark-ish. I like to be able to see the people I'm treating with. Behind the counter, you can see the owner. It's a typical provision shop. There's nothing unusual about it at all, other than the fact that you were told to come here. It's normal. Barthen's Provisions is. I just need to find out. Here we go. Moderately stocked, I guess would be the best way to put it. It's a provision shop, so there's always going to be some things that are a little bit low on stock, some things that are going to be a bit higher on stock, and you can see it in an assortment. There's not real weapons. You do see a little bit of weapons in secured areas, but for the most part, it's provisions. Dried fruits and vegetables, ration packed, backpacked, leather straps, frogs, um, gauntlets, bracers, gloves, boots, root repair kits, full-on traveling kits like herbalism kits and medicine kits and just stuff that adventurers need. Behind some secured areas, you do find a couple of daggers, short swords, arrows. There is ammunition here, but you only spot one longbow up in the corner of the wall.
Do I recognize it?
No. As for armor, you do see the smaller armors, hide armor pieces, leather armor pieces, studded leather armor pieces. But there's not much. It's basically just repair work. Like if the pauldron part of your studded leather got too damaged, here's a replacement piece you could sew in. It's not full suits of armor. This is obviously not the weapon shop.
So basically, it looks like it's bits and pieces people sold them from looting corpses.
Right. But it would also be good for adventurers to have to fix their own armor on the fly. Behind it, you do see a pretty robust-looking man in his late to early 50s, human from the looks of it. You do see a couple of younger, probably his boys, running around, hiding, organizing, inventorying the place. You hear from the older guy, "Greetings. You must be the fine people from Neverwinter that I was expecting. Be a good time, considering.
Considering?
4 wagons. Nothing must have got in your way, huh?
Yeah, we had a couple rough nights.
I'm Elmar Barthen. I'm here to give you your money as soon as I take a look at those wagons.
What are you doing with the horses?
Horses go back to Gundren. They're his. The wagons are mine, horses are his. I'm holding on to them until he comes and collects them. You see him walk out from behind, walks with a very distinctive limp. Looks like he took a bad fall at one point in his life and just
Took an arrow to the knee.
took an arrow to the knee. Never had it healed properly. He walks outside. So how long have you guys known Gundren for? I've known that dwarf for, oh, must say at least 30 years now. That was your guys' age. Well, I don't know about you. I can never tell how old you guys are. As he points over at your character. But at least as old as him. He points to the wizard. He's giving this place a new paint job.
But what the hell did they do to the other side of the house? Did he tell you they were giving it a new paint
No,
job?
but I saw a ladder in there. Which means he's giving it a paint job.
Yeah, but he didn't give this place a new paint job when we moved in. Which means they had to fuck it up bad.
I know.
It's weird to hear a roller on the other side of the wall. Assuming it's a roller. Gonna go inspect the wagons.
He's on his way out right now. As he gets out there and starts going through some of the wagons just to see how the wagons held up and how the supplies are. So, any word on Gundren? When he's gonna show up?
No idea. He said he was gonna be either a day ahead or a day behind us. If we made good time.
That being the case, he's probably gonna be a day behind you then. What about his brothers?
Brothers?
I haven't seen them in a few days. Gundro and Tharden. You have any idea where they are?
I didn't even know he had brothers.
I know they're somewhere outside of town, but I don't know where.
What were their names?
Nundro, Nundro, and the other one is Tharden, Tharden.
And that guy's name is what?
Elmar. Barthen is his last name. He gets through the first two without a problem. Things are good. I'm keeping you guys up, keeping you away from your other activities, I imagine. Probably want a nice cold drink from the ale house, no doubt. See him go back in. I'll check the other two here in a moment.
Is he carrying anything with him when he comes back in?
No, he is not.
Well, apparently, anyways.
Goes back in, grabs a pouch from behind the way, comes out. I owe you another 5 gold each. Where's the other two?
Bassett went off the trail because he thought he saw something, and Gryphon, I don't know. He went with them, but then we heard screams. About an hour later.
Red Brands?
What?
You think it was the Red Brands?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know anything about the Red Brands? They're a gang that moved into town not long ago. They've been basically trying to take over this town. They've bullied the mayor into doing whatever they want. They go everywhere as they want, take what they need, and anyone doesn't comply, they rough them up. Beat one of my boys to a pulp about a month back. They frequent the Sleeping Giant. It's just down the road over there, as he nods in the direction. Tosses you a bag.
Catch.
There's 25 in there, 5 for each of you. Split it up when you find them. If it wasn't the Red Brands, it could have been any number of other things. I know there's roaming bands of orcs in the area, and goblins have been sighted. There's a couple people in town here that could know a little bit more if you're actually curious as to what happened to your friend. Darnan is usually pretty good with names and what's going on. D-A-R?
N-I-N.
No, A-N. Darren, I should say. Right there. Behind the leg.
This would be a wonderful view for everybody.
Yeah, your ass sticking in the air. Darren's usually pretty good when it comes to know what's what in the area, what's going on. He says he used to be an adventurer many years back. Last time I heard, he lives in a cottage down by the apple orchard. Yeah.
Orchid or orchard?
Orchid. O-R-C-H-A-R-D. Orchid.
That's orchard.
Orchard, whatever. Orchid is a flower, isn't it?
Yeah, it says O-R-C-H-I-D.
So, if you want to know what's going on and have a better chance of finding what happened to Crichton, he's the guy you'd want to talk to. He's a half elf. Says he's well over 100 years old. Given the amount of grays on his head, I believe him. He grabs his bald head. Wish I had his head of hair.
What's wrong with bald?
You have scales. You're not bald.
It's the form of bald. Oh, now I'm blanking on the friggin' dwarf's name. All I have stuck in my head is...
Gundren.
All I have stuck in my head is programming.
He points down the road. You're here. He points this direction.
Sleeping giant.
Yeah. Sleeping Giants, where those red brands like to hang out. Avoid that tavern. If you're looking to get a good drink, just go down the road to Stonehill. They don't go there very often.
And where would I find Dran?
Darren?
He said apple orchard?
Yeah. He's in a cottage down by the apple orchard. And where he points is basically like that. Points west. Over there. If you want to know a little bit more as to what's going on in the area, definitely go talk to him. He's usually pretty good on that. As he goes back and continues checking the third wagon. One of his boys seems to come out and start taking the stuff from the first wagon and moving it inside.
Which one of your boys got beaten up?
He's inside doing inventory.
Can I see him?
You're right ahead. You're the druid, aren't you?
Yes.
2 seconds. I forgot to bring up a generator. I hate when I forget to bring up generators.
I need to go in a weird position because of my legs. Oh, they're sore. Was I kicking in my sleep?
Nope.
My leg feels like it's on fire again.
I wonder why. Let's see here. There we go. Basically tips his head back. Senred, get your ass out of here, you little shit. After a few moments of things being put down. You see, maybe mid to late teens come out. He has the underlying bruising of a pretty bad beating still there, but he seems to be fine. It's just some of the bruising is still just a tiny little bit present.
Well, you did get a royal beating, didn't you?
So I gave as good as I got.
Fine, I won't give you something to make the pain stop.
It don't hurt. Quit being a shithead. Show a little bit of respect to a druid. What do you have?
Where else is bruised? Other than your pride and your ego and your face.
Chest, back, sides.
Let me see your sides.
Lift up his shirt to expose some pretty bad bruising that's still, it's mostly gone. It's like 90% gone.
Yeah, but still, my character's not stupid. He would know that hitting sides can lead to internal damage.
Do you have medicine?
Yes.
Make a medicine roll to know that.
25.
Yeah, you know that that could cause some damage. You hear from the one that's helping to take the stuff inside. He's a fucking idiot. He egged them on. He got what he deserved. Let him suffer.
Have you been pissing blood, young one?
Little.
Hand him a berry. Eat it.
Takes the berry.
No, put it in your mouth.
He eats it. You just see the wizard staring at the kid.
Didn't swallow it, did he?
Oh, he did. Looks like he feels a lot better once the berry kicks in. You hear from the wizard, "You're lying."
About which?
He didn't give as good as he got. The bruising, the patterns, the body language.
He was on the ground, I know.
No, he wasn't.
Usually the bruising was
He didn't defend himself.
I've only ever seen bruising on sides like that when I've come across people beating other people on the ground.
Or purposely hitting them with clubs, sticks. You just see Barthen look over. "Why does the one in the robe say you're lying?" "I'm not lying. They beat the crap out of me. You saw the way I looked. You think I'd lie about that?"
Why did you let them?
"I didn't. I gave as good as I got."
You think he's hazing to get in?
Let's see if he can. The wizard just looks. "You're lying. Do not lie. It annoys me." "I'm not lying."
Was it a haze? Were they hazing you to let you into their gang?
"Why the hell would you want to join them after you've seen the shit they've done in this town for the last few months?" "I wasn't trying to get in, I swear."
I'm looking back at Jason.
He doesn't look like he believes him at all.
My wizard friend don't believe you.
Well, your wizard friend is fucking wrong.
Uh-oh. Okay, is my character smart enough to know to back the fuck up at this point?
Yes.
Then I'm backing the fuck up. Like to the door.
Wizard just looks at him. "I've seen injuries like that before, and I know how to read people. You're lying. You did not fight back. The only reason why you wouldn't fight back when being brutally assaulted by multiple people from all angles is if you willingly let it happen.
Or we're a coward on the ground.
He still has some level of defensive wounds, automatic reactions when they went for his face. The leftover bruising that was on his arms would have signified that. He allowed it to happen. The only reason why people allow things like that to happen is if they want in. So, Barthen, have fun knowing your kid wants into the gang that's been shaking this town down. Barthen walks past you guys, grabs his son by the hair, and drags him into the actual provision shop. To which you start hearing yelling. Stupid kid. You don't join gangs. Alright. My 5 gold from the wizard.
I want to get back to the the inn.
You hear from Tibble. He said the inn down the road is good, so I say we go there.
Should we trust an inn this guy said we should go to?
I don't see why not.
Let's hit up the one closest to the door.
You hear from the wizard that is the one closest to the door.
Damn it.
It's either we go to that one down the road, or we go to the one that the red brands apparently hold up in. Been on the road for 2 weeks. I've been living off shit food and broth with a hint of meat. For the past 3 weeks before that, I want a comfy chair, I want a hot meal, I want real meat, I want ale, and I want a whore to suck on my dick. I'm all for finding Bazant, but it's already coming to sundown.
He's going to be camping soon.
Going at night is stupid and not only reckless, but we're also going to have a hard time following it. And if we do, we're going to be making ourselves known, i.e., light. I say we go to bed, get a good rest, and we take off right before dawn. So as soon as the sun cracks, we're already where we were, where we split paths.
Agree.
So we go out, 3 hours before dawn, an hour before dawn?
2.5. 2.5 we wake up, be out by 2.
Get back to where we split paths, so that way as soon as dawn cracks, we're already right where we were. I'm okay with that, but tonight we should take up rest here.
Do you want to try where the red brands are, see if we can get some information?
You up for a possible fight with a bunch of gang members today?
Not really. I have no mana left, and I'm exhausted.
Then let's go to Stonehill. We'll deal with Bazant, and then we'll come back and deal with the gang if we need to.
Oh, did you switch to mana, by the way?
Yeah, I am going to use the mana rules from the Dungeon Master Guide. So
I don't know how much mana I have.
I am finding that out for you. You are a primary spellcaster.
Take my thingy and fiddle with it.
Yeah. Take your thing and fiddle with it. Oh, yes.
It's just me. Oh my, they're gonna do it, get it right.
Oh, my. Alright. So I need to unmerge all this. Spell costs. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9. And then mana. Merge that. Mana. Whoopsies. Mana. Merge. Center in the middle. Increase size. And How much mana do you have? You are a level 2 character. You are no longer level 1. I don't know why you have level 1 listed there. You are level 2. You are character level of 2. Let's see here. So, going by the Dungeon Master Guide on page 288, you have, for being a level 2 primary caster, 6 mana. And spell costs are 2 mana for a first level spell, 3 mana for a second level spell, 5 mana for a third level spell.
Do I have access to those yet?
No, I'm just marking them all down. 4 for 6, 5. Fifth level spells cost 7, sixth level spells cost 9, seventh level spells cost 10, eighth levels cost 11, and ninth level spells cost 13. So, let's merge this, increase the size to normal, bold it, bold. Your spell levels are in bold. I'm not sure what else you want. But this should be self-evident. So when you prepare your spells, same as always, you prepare your 5 spells per day, so you get another one that you can embold in here.
Mm-hmm.
So you can grab another one and bold it. You prepare your 5, you cast them as you wish, and first level spells take 2 mana to cast each, and you have 6 mana.
So I can cast 3 spells.
So you can cast 3 spells. It'll start becoming a little bit more variable and giving you a little bit more flexibility when you get higher levels and you start getting second and third level spells.
So first level spells cost 2.
Yeah.
Where'd you write this down?
Right there. Spell point or spell cost.
There it is.
So are you going to head down towards the Stonehill Inn?
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, it looks like a newer building. So it looks like it may have had some damage at some point and then been rebuilt, or it just has been flat up, put up brand new. Uh, for the most part, the quality looks pretty good compared to the rest of the town. That's what I mean by it looks new. Outside of it, you can hear lots of rumblings of people moving about and bustling around inside of there, as well as what looks like and sounds like a bar that you can see through the opening of one of the windows, considering it's summertime. Off to one of the sides in the Stonehill Inn, entertaining people with song and stories. For the most part, the common room is filled with just locals taking it easy, having some drinks, smoking, eating a little bit of food. And for the most part, it does smell good, considering you've been living off rations and good berries.
No, I had rabbit and fish.
Yeah. As you guys start to walk in to the Stonehill Inn, you are eyed by most of the people that are in there because, from what looks like, most of the people in there are locals, either having a pipe and a drink, or having a meal and a pipe, or relaxing with a pipe again, listening to the bard. But they do look at you because you're obvious adventurers, a fucking dragonborn druid, a tiefling, and a guy dressed in blue and black robes walk into a bar.
The first 2 drops, the wizard hits his head.
So you are eyed by most of the people in there. No one says anything, and you're not even immediately hearing any, murmurings and whispers of anything negative. It's just, oh, travelers in town. Good for them. I wonder if they've been to Bartham's. Oh, most likely it's right on the way. Just standard everyday murmurs and rumors, as what most people would do. You do hear a couple. Is that a fucking dragonborn? I think that is a dragonborn. Never seen one in person before. What's the red one behind it? It's got horns. You think it's a dragonborn? It doesn't have scales. Maybe it's a lame one? A eunuch version?
I'm grabbing a hold of his arms just in case he's hearing these things.
Passive perception is not high enough to hear the low murmurings.
Come on, let's go a little bit quicker.
There are available tables as well as there are available spots at the bar itself. So, which one would you rather go to?
A room.
Which means you'll have to go to the bar to get a room.
Yeah. What do you guys want for a room? Separate room, suite?
Separate. We're in a small town. I doubt they're going to have a suite.
You never know with these places. And we roll a cot into another cot into one room.
And you see what looks like human male comes over, young, early to late teens at the most. Hey, nice to see some fresh traveling adventurers coming through our town. Thinking of staying here for a while?
A night.
Just a night? Grand Adventure's taking you out early in the morning?
Very early.
Ah. Where are you coming from?
All of us from different places.
Where are you heading to?
Not entirely certain.
Alrighty then. How many rooms are you looking for?
I'm looking back at Tibble. Do you want to save money or do you want a separate room?
Separate rooms. Separate rooms. From Tibholt.
I'm not used to people that need privacy to do that.
You're a druid. It's expected. 3 rooms you hear from Tibholt. Well, tis but a small average inn. I don't have many variances. You can either have one of two choices. Out back, and a couple up on the next level, or some squalor style rooms. You can just kind of bunk all together. If you're looking for an independent room, that's fine. I do have a couple left available. More than a couple, I should say, if I'm going to be honest with you. They only cost a silver a night, though. But 2 silver, and you get breakfast in the morning.
How early in the morning?
Well, you said you're leaving really early, right?
Yes.
I can leave some out on the bar. I can't be held accountable if something comes in and takes it, though. So I can always put some food out on the bar for you. So that way it's good to go whenever you get up and ready to leave.
By the way, the math comes out to each get 8 gold, 3 silver. I'm pulling the silver out of my pouch because I have a silver that will separate the leftover gold. I hand 3. Who wants the spare silver?
Ugh. Jason lifts his hand. I'm the most broken of all of us. He takes it happily. And then he passes over his 2 silver for the night. As does Tybalt. And you said we each get 8 gold?
8 gold, 3 silver. Except for Jason who gets 4 silver because he's poor as fuck.
I am poor as fuck. But I'm okay with it because I'm going to have more money here soon.
Why is that?
Because I'm actually adventuring now.
Oh, pickpocket me in my sleep, boy?
No. Wasn't planning on it. I'm not a thief. Oh, excuse me. You see the bartender from behind the bar. Well, so yes or no to leaving some food out on the table for you? Yes? Alright, I'll make sure to have some left out whenever you guys wake up in the morning. It'll be there for you. Passes you each a key. The rooms are upstairs, second level. Make sure you're not staying in town long.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty then. And what's your character going to do? Head upstairs?
Mm-hmm.
You can go upstairs and you can easily find your room. It's not that much of an issue to find it.
I'm looking over at Jason. I understand you want some private time, but do you want to talk for a few minutes first?
Walks over to the room that you were given.
Look at Tibbles.
He just shakes his head. Walks over. Everyone crams into your one small room. It's a very typical small inn room. One main room, one bed. It has a pillow, but you need to use your own bedroll. Spot for armor, spot for weapons to hang up, writing desk and a chair and a window.
Okay. So, apart from Phasm being a dick,
Tybalt takes the bow off his back, slumps against the wall and sits down. Jason grabs the chair, spins it around and sits down so he doesn't have to take his backpack off.
let's go out to bed.
Hasn't is a concern he hear from Jason. He's going to be expecting us.
Yeah.
He'll be a lot harder to take down than Krythan if he attacks us. An armored warrior is a vastly different combatant than a lightly armored archer. What do you want to do?
I say I play stupid.
You get Tybalt. That's obvious. We go in playing as if we don't suspect anything.
Say we got hit by the gang and Krythan went down. Or at least we think he went down because we can't find him.
Alright, where did the gang jump us?
But now we're up from the horses, where our obvious tracks deviated over.
Smart. That'll work. Believable cover. Alright.
We saw Krythan running in the direction of the horses.
What do we do with Basant?
Kill him.
Shouldn't we question him?
If we give him time to be questioned, he'll kill one of us.
Yeah, but something's up.
We can talk to him on the way as we're playing stupid.
Yeah, but obviously something is up. Obviously he knows something. Having us identify what that is could be better in the long run. You hear from Tybalt. Being able to keep ourselves safe, knowing what this trickery is caused by. Otherwise, if we take him out and we don't know what this trickery is caused by, we could just be leaving ourselves open for whatever else is out there.
We could say the gang stole some pots and pans on the way.
That doesn't answer the fact that I think we should question him.
We have to find a way to get him without his armor.
Maybe
Maybe if we get there early enough, he'll still be asleep.
You hear from Jason. That's a good idea. But that means traveling through the night, because we don't know how far he made it.
He won't be making it far with that armor.
Let's see here. We have 3 hours there. He has a 3-hour head start, averaging about 2 miles an hour. We got 4 miles and a trail following it, so that at best, not being a druid or a ranger, best he could hope for would be 2 miles of travel following the trail.
I don't need a trail. The trail could wind. I can see through that.
So if you got 2 miles and that's just the time it took us to get here, he'll still have the rest of the night.
On which he'd camp.
At which point he'd be camping, so he might get another mile, so 3 miles. Then he camps, and he'll leave at dawn. So we need to get back up to where we were, which we should be able to get there in an hour, since we won't have horses slowing us down, well, wagons slowing us down. We get there in an hour, and then he got another 3 miles. You were going to be slowed a little bit following a trail, but nowhere near as much. So we should be able to make the 3 miles he would make within an hour. So that's 2 hours before dawn. So
we need to leave 2 hours earlier than we suspected.
We need to leave from here 2 hours before dawn. So we need to be up 3 hours before dawn and ready to go. And I need an hour to get my spells ready. So I need to be up 4 hours before dawn. Which means I have enough time to go get some food and get a quick suck, and then I'm going to bed. Otherwise, I'm not going to have my spells ready in the morning. Well, benefit of being a warlock, I don't have to worry about that, so 3 hours before dawn for me.
Short 15-minute meditation and a prayer to my gods, I'm good.
You'll still need to get up about 3 hours before dawn, though, like the rest of us. Here from Tybalt. Yeah. Alright, 3 hours before dawn it is. It's going to be hard to judge.
At what point are we separating? Or is that to be decided?
Separating? What do you mean separating? You hear from Tybalt? Going our own ways? You hear from Jason. Right off the bat, I don't know. You can't leave a loose end.
No.
Bazant is a loose end.
And I do not need him following back to my grove.
Which means right now, our desires, our goals are in line with one another. So, I say we work together, we find and deal with Bazant as best as we can. We find and deal with Gundren and Sildar, and find out what the other half of that map is for, and where Gundren is and where Sildar is. Because obviously they were taken, but where?
When I wake up, I'll make copies for you too, in case we get
Ripped
separated.
map, Gundren and Sildar missing, dead horses with goblin arrows, and a gang in the area. That map leads to something important that the gang is probably after. So, we deal with Bazant. Agreed?
Yeah.
Agreed, you hear from Tybalt. Then, we find Sildar and Gundren. Agreed?
Mm-hmm.
Agreed from Tybalt. Then, depending upon what they say, and what we find out from them about the map, will then determine what we do from there.
How do you have your spell books protected?
I'm not powerful enough yet to protect my spell books.
Do you have a scroll case?
Yep. It's on my backpack.
In the morning, I'll make us all copies of the map. I'll give you the original.
Works. After we find out what this map is and what it's for, and we find Sildar and Gundren, then we'll determine what we're doing with parting ways. What can change between here and there? Maybe we'll have another common goal. But for now, we have at least a day or two's worth of common goals. That's more than enough foresight for me.
Afterwards, I'm heading to Waterdeep. So long as nothing else happens.
I'll head there with you. You hear from the wizard? Waterdeep is the biggest city on the coast. On this entire side of the coast. It is the biggest city.
Looking at Tybalt.
I don't want to die young. I'll go to Waterdeep. It's got to be a lot of work there.
So, barring anything happening, Waterdeep.
We'll look at parting ways if needed, if we don't like each other or work well together in Waterdeep. But Waterdeep is going to take us probably another fortnight to get there. I don't know. I'll see if I can find a map. But Waterdeep would be a good place to part ways. Last thing with roving bands of orcs and this gang.
Separated.
We don't need to be traveling along the coastline to Waterdeep alone. So we'll see how well we work together in actual situations tomorrow. And if we don't, we'll part ways in Waterdeep. If we do, we'll talk again in Waterdeep. But first, I want to find Bazant. I want to find out what happened with Gundren and Sodar. And I want to find out what this map is for. Because it might have impact with this town and this gang. If it's just Menial doesn't give a shit, I don't care. But we need to figure it out first. So in the meantime, I'm gonna go get food. Real food. Hot food. He walks out. You hear him go to his room, obviously dropping off some things he doesn't need to be carrying on him at all times. He keeps on him, obviously, what a wizard would want to keep on him. His staff, his spell book, but a lot of the everyday provisions like his spare set of clothing, his rations, all the loose stuff like that has been taken out of his backpack. As he goes, you hear him walk out and head downstairs. Tybalt hangs out in the room for a bit. Once he walks downstairs, Tybalt looks over at you. You didn't trust Bazin, and you didn't trust Krythan. As he's saying in a somewhat low volume, do you trust Jason? I'm not a good judge of character.
My character is switching into Infernal. You can talk in this language. I understand it.
Yeah, he might as well. You hear an Infernal? He is a bloody wizard.
Yeah, but don't they tend to stick to stuff that's useful?
Infernal's useful.
Only against demons and devils and stuff.
The question still stands. Do you trust him? Or do you want me to keep an eye on him?
I trust him a little bit more, but not 100% yet.
I'm not a good judge of character, so I don't know.
I think he's good, but I don't know why he wears such bright colors.
I don't understand.
Blue.
What about it?
Blue's a royalty color, as is purple.
So?
Blue, purple, and red is usually held for royalty and nobles.
Huh. Who knew? I'm noble. Red skin. Never mind.
Purple!
You also said red. So, what, you think him wearing blue is something significant?
He might come from a good family. It could just be his wizarding school colors. But I think it makes him stick out like a sore fucking thumb.
And?
All the rest of us wearing brown and green.
And?
It could make us a target.
For what?
Thieves, gangs, bandits.
They're gonna target wayward travelers regardless.
Yeah, and having I'm noble and have money stamped on your back.
Good weapons, armor in good condition, Dragonborn is gonna scream, adventurers, we have money, come rob us.
The hell does Dragonborn have to do with it?
You're tough and you're rare, which means you have something valuable.
What, my hide?
Yes. If nothing else, it could be sold as a makeshift
I'm going
knockoff.
to shank you.
It's true. The fact that we're traveling adventurers is enough to draw the attention of bandits. Color has nothing to do with it.
Says the pink one.
I am red, thank you very much. Not red undertone, flaming fucking red. As he lifts up a bright red arm.
Really, I see a bit of magenta.
I have red skin and red horns. Pointed ears. I am not pink.
You have a flea?
Shut up. I'll keep an eye on him then. That work?
Yeah, he seems pretty desperate for a whore.
I don't blame him. It has been a couple of weeks, even for me. I can go
What the hell
downstairs.
does that mean? You think you're some sort of stud because you're red?
Out of game information, Tybalt has a charisma of 16.
Okay, yes, my character can see he's attractive, but he's also bright fucking red.
And a tiefling, which is still one of the common races. And an adventurer, which makes him mysterious and dangerous. But I think he has a good idea with that. Except I'm going to go try to find one I don't have to pay for.
Think he's paying?
Possibly, but I want to charm my way. Look, considering what we're dealing with tomorrow, you should go get some action on the side. Or do you need a cloaca or something?
I'm gonna punch him. Not hard, but I'm gonna punch him. Do I have to roll for that?
Yeah, actually, he's not going to let you just haul off and hit him. He's sitting down, so you have advantage. You can roll another d20. You take the higher of the two rolls.
Yeah. Roll two at the same time or just
Yeah, you roll them both at the same time, you take the higher of the two rolls. So you take the 13 in that case. Plus your proficiency and your strength modifier.
Proficiency is 2. And strength is 2, so plus 4.
So 17. Yeah, you beat his armor class. You punch him for 1 plus your strength modifier damage.
I'm not purposely trying to hurt him, I'm just going.
What? I don't know what you have down there.
It's still humanoid.
That's a very broad spectrum term. He gets up and walks out. Before he shuts your door, leans back in. I am serious though. Go get your dick wet, because Bazin's going to be tough. And if he has any inclination that we're onto him, you might not get another chance.
Yeah, by the way, the girls down there think you're a eunuch.
Yeah, sure they do. Shuts the door.
I'm just gonna wait for the girls to come up to my room, because I saw stairs.
You hear him go to his room, then you hear him leave his room and go downstairs. How long are you waiting in your room for?
Half hour, then I'm gonna meander down and get food. I'm working on the maps.
A half hour goes by uneventful. You can go down and get food. By that time, you see that Tybalt and Chasen are just finishing up their food. Chasen has of course, again, he has his pipe lit. Just finishing up his food. Tybalt's just finishing up what looks like his third glass of ale.
As I'm passing by Tybalt.
And Tybalt is going to make a...
As I'm passing by Tybalt, I'm leaning in infernal, whispering so just loud enough that he can hear it. I have a water skin of rum if you ever need it when we're on the road.
He just nods his head.
It's meant for cleaning, but...
Tybalt is attempting to charm what looks like any number of 3 different women back up to his room.
My character is going to take off his robe.
But Chasen seems to be doing a better job of charming a woman than Tybalt is. You should eat something from Chasen.
Order food.
Very basic food. Nothing fancy, nothing special.
Looking at the bartender.
Do you want something to drink as well?
Yeah, are you the owner of this place, or?
I own it, yeah.
How much would you trade me for a hide?
What type of hide?
Hair.
Can I see the condition of it?
Pulls it out of his pouch.
That's actually pretty good. How about I get you half off your dinner?
Deal.
Do you want something simple, or do you want something expensive? Your friend's got something simple.
I'm voting expensive.
Well, for expensive, I got some actual beans, carrots, plum pudding, some mutton. All for 2 silver. I'll give it to you for 1. Give me the hide.
Can you throw me in a couple of eggs? Have you got them?
Raw or cooked?
Cooked.
Raw is much better.
Yeah, but I can't carry raw eggs around with me.
Oh, yeah, I can toss in one or two for you. He goes back. He'll be a few minutes before he comes back out.
Looking over the other two. What did you guys get?
Just the simple stuff. Cheese, bread, and stew.
I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna have my mutton and eggs.
Wanted something hot and simple.
I thought that's what she was for.
She glares at you a little bit.
What, you like it?
A few moments later, you see what looks like a woman about the same age as the innkeeper comes over. Push the food down. I hope this is to your liking.
Thank you.
I'm Trelina.
Trelina?
Yeah.
His wife?
Yep. How'd you guess? She grabs a seat and sits down. You stopped at Barthen's, didn't you? Before you came here?
Yeah.
You're the ones that were bringing the wagons in, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Did he happen to mention the problem we've been having here?
Gang?
The red brands. Do you have a few moments I can talk to you? She looks at the girls that Tybalt and Chasen are talking up alone. They get a little uncomfortable and whisper something in Chasen's ear, and then you hear one of them go, "Okay, we'll go get a drink and listen to the bard for a few. We'll be back." They get up and walk away. A guy named Thel. He's one of the main wood carvers here in town. Finally had enough of them.
Mm-hmm.
Broad daylight. Made a public stand against them 10 days ago.
I'm not visible.
You are not visible. Can you please sit up?
Yep, just let me finish what I'm writing.
Apparently, they went into his shop and started leering at his wife.
Trelina is this girl's name?
Trilena. 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 He started leering at his wife, grabbing at her, saying things. He stood up. They dragged him out into the middle of town and beat him to death. Then, a couple people say they saw the Red Brands dragging away his wife and his daughter.
How many of them are there?
There's a decent amount.
He said his name is Thrall.
Thel, Thel. There's enough of them. A good chunk of them make a stand at the giant down the road. They come here once in a while, but this isn't where they normally hang out. The sleeping giant down the road may be a competitor of ours, but
They can keep them?
they can keep them. I'll take our decrease in business if it means we don't have to put up with those red brands on a daily basis.
How many red brands would you estimate there being?
All in all, probably 30. But they're not all in one place at one time, right? They're scattered throughout the town. And sometimes they leave the town to go out and do other things, God knows what.
I mean, we have a pretty nasty goblin infestation outside.
Not bad.
Took down a horse.
That's not good. Mm. I know that some of the Red Brands have left recently, but I'd say there's no more than 30 of them.
Have you heard anything about Nungro and Tharden? Apparently
They're dwarves. They come in every now and then.
we didn't know that the guy we were working for are brothers.
Who are you working for?
Gundren is the one who sent us with the cart wagon thing.
Oh, Gunnar and the dwarf. Yeah, they're all brothers. They come in every once in a while, but I haven't seen them for a few days. Unusual.
How many days?
God,
2, 3, longer?
about a week since I've seen them last. Look, I know that you're not here for this, but there's a girl. She hasn't even started bleeding yet.
Sorry. Okay, yes, I'm listening.
If you have any time at all when you're done dealing with whatever you're doing, can you try to find her?
Is that Belle's daughter?
I'll take her in if her mother's dead. They're getting worse. They have the mayor wrapped around their finger. He does whatever they want so that way he doesn't get hurt. They flat out killed him in the middle of town. Took his wife and his daughter. She's not even old enough to be bleeding yet. God knows what the hell they're doing to
So
her.
what, 9, 10?
I think she's 8 or 9. God only knows what those ruffians are doing to her. If you have time, can you go down to the giant and see if you can, I don't know, extract any information out of them at all as to her whereabouts? See if she's still alive and possibly get her back?
There's something we have to deal with outside of town before we do any of that.
I understand, but if you could, it would be appreciated.
The gang would probably keep her as a trophy of sorts.
I don't even want to think of that.
No,
But
that's
that only
good.
orcs did things like that.
Anything with a penis can be mean.
Tybalt looks at you.
Am I wrong?
Not really. That's the sad part. You're not wrong. But she is right. Sorry, he is right.
I'm gonna hit you again.
We do have some things to take care of out of town. We'll be back as soon as we can. And
If they kept her as a trophy, that's better than anything else because it means they want her alive and safe. They may be having their way with her, but she's still alive.
I don't even want to think of that.
That stuff can be repaired. Emotions can be worked through. Lives can't be brought back. Not easily.
You hear from Tybalt. Once we're done dealing with whatever we're dealing with out there, at least I will come back and see what I can do about these ruffians. See if I can help dissuade this gang from maintaining a presence here.
Looking over at Jason. I think my water deep trip might be delayed. Because 30 guys against a dragon and a devil might unnerve him a little bit.
If you pick them off, don't go in 30 on 2. That's just stupid. But if you pick them off, small group here, small group there,
A couple of them with acid to their face might teach him a lesson.
isolated incidents, you could take them all out. But if it's a gang, you would be best at finding whoever their leader is. You take out their leader, the morale will plummet. Most of them will disperse. The other ones will have infighting as to who the new leader is.
But then what we're doing might turn back around into this.
If it does, I'll help. You hear from Jason. If what we're dealing with spins itself back around in a 180 and comes back towards the red brands, I'll help.
Was Red Brands around the last time you heard from Gundren's brothers?
The red brands have been here for a few months.
Yeah, but were the Red Brands around the last time you saw them and then they mystically went poof?
No, they didn't just vanish. They've been here for a while.
No, his brothers. His brothers stopped coming around.
Yeah, they were here one day, and they usually make an appearance every few days, and they just haven't for the last week.
Have the Red Brands replaced them?
What do you mean by replace them?
Coming in their stead.
No. Well, thank you very much. Hopefully you can do something. Anything at all would be appreciated. She gets up and leaves the table. Jason looks at you. We're still going to go talk to that half-elf? Former adventurer? Which I highly think is not an adventurer.
What do you think it is?
A charlatan. Gang of small, inexperienced young men come into a town. A half-elf that claims to be over 100 years of age that used to be a former adventurer has done nothing to stop them.
Said half elf. You think Chryson maybe wasn't a full blood elf?
Maybe Chrython was the half-elf he was talking about. Not hard to dye your hair. What was that half-elf's name again?
Darren.
Darren? Maybe Darren is Chrython. When we're done dealing with this, when we have to come back, I say we stop in and talk to him. See if he's actually there or not. See if we can find any evidence, if he isn't there, that he might have been Chrython. I think that sounds like a good idea. In the meantime, I'm done my food. Takes a big drag off of his pipe. So finish talking to that woman. Goes before we have to get up at fucking piss in the morning. Takes his pipe, goes over, finds the woman he was talking to. Tybalt downs his last little bit of ale.
How did you get outdone by the wizard?
I have no idea. Maybe it's these as he grabs his horns.
Dude, did you fart before you got up, you sick bastard?
I did not. 2 seconds.
I call shenanigans.
No shenanigans. It has to be Brissa.
Can't keep blaming it on the dog.
That's why we have dogs.
So you admit you did it?
No, I admit I blame her sometimes.
What did you eat?
It was not me. I have not farted all day.
I have not. Full statements means you're lying.
Okay, I farted earlier and I just farted now.
Brissa's sniffing it. She thinks it's food.
That does sound like her.
You're dumb. Can you grab me the bag of chips on the closet? You're walking right past it.
I'm grabbing one for myself.
I want the twisties. Or did you want the twisties?
No, I wanted these.
Those are hard on my teeth.
What's your character going to do for the rest of the night?
Are the girls checking me out?
What's your charisma?
13.
Yep.
I'm assuming I'm going to be somebody's novelty of first time they had a half dragon.
Oh, guaranteed. character wishes to get laid before he goes off and dies, you can make a persuasion check. If you have the skill persuasion, you can roll it. If not, d20 plus charisma. Now, add your charisma modifier to that.
Seriously, making me keep that roll. 13.
Are you willing to dump any gold in it?
No, I'll keep trying.
Well, while you try the first time and fail, before you get your next roll, you can make a perception check. You have the skill perception. d20 plus your wisdom modifier.
21. And
More than enough.
do I get a proficiency with that?
Only if you have the skill for it, at which point it would already be added in. More than enough, though. You can actually overhear something. You don't know who it is, you didn't catch their name, but you do catch the trail end of a statement of orc raiders have been apparently found and spotted on a trail near the east end of this town. And people are trying to find a way to get rid of them, or at least frighten them away from the town before they get the inclination that raiding Phandelver would be a good idea for provisions, supplies, women. Do you try to find a woman, or do you plan on listening on that conversation or interjecting yourself?
Listen in if one comes by.
The guy's name is Lanar. Lanar. He's the one that's talking about it. And you find that the town master, i.e. the mayor of the town, is actually looking to find someone and willing to pay them to run away or run off the orcs. Kill them, frighten them away so that way they leave. Anything, as long as they're gone. I'll get you an actual name here in a second. Harbin Wester. And so all you're hearing is, we shouldn't be looking to try to find others to try to deal with our fucking problems. If there's orcs spotted near the east end on the trail, then why don't we just get a bunch of people together and run them off ourselves? You really think that'd be a good idea, Lanar, considering the goddamn red brands in here as well, plus the other goblins that have been apparently spotted? Do we really want to bring the orcs' attention here? I say we just let them be. Well, the least we can do is have something done, instead of just hoping that someone actually comes and solves our problem for us. Harbin's a fat, pompous shit. An old fool, if you ask me. Townmaster or not, he doesn't know what he's doing. I say he only doesn't want to have anything done, and he's hoping to have some miraculous adventurers like the dumbasses that just came in town earlier today solve the problems for him, because that's what the Red Brands want him to do. What the hell do you mean by that? Red Brands figured no one's going to come in and solve his problem. He gives the appearance of like he actually wants to do something, but in reality, nothing's going to get done. Keep the town people happy. He keeps the Red Brands happy the way a good whore keeps me happy. I say we do something. And what if you're doing something? Draws them here. We're not even equipped to handle a fucking bunch of kids. I have a boy their age. But they have weapons and tactics and training and numbers. We don't have a militia at all. Leonard, you're blinded. You spend too much time in the in the mines. I think you don't know what it's like out here in the real world, above ground. I know what it's completely like. You're useless and you're scared. If you're not going to do anything, I'm going to take me and my boys, and we'll go deal with the orcs tomorrow. The rest of you can be damned. As he spits right in the guy's face, slams his drink down, and storms out of the inn.
Make an eye contact with the guy. Don't let the coal lung piss you off. He only has a couple years left in him.
Hello.
You know, retarded adventurer here.
You heard that, did you?
I'd have to be deaf not to hear that.
Lanar gets boisterous when he's headed to you.
You're Lanar.
No, Lanar's the miner.
Why'd he say Lanar?
I said Lanar. He gets drunk almost every night. Works the mines during the day. Comes here and he drinks till he's drunk, and then he goes home. But if he's honest about it, he's just going to bring more problems to this town than it's worth. Although it could be a blessing in disguise. Orcs come in and kill the red brands. That'd be good. I think that's asking too much. He wasn't joking, though. Harbin, the townmaster, he's a fat, pompous old fool. And he is right. The orcs need to be dealt with, but we can't deal with the orcs until we deal with the red brands.
Why hasn't the adventurer that lives here done anything? Darren?
He's retired.
There's no such thing as a retired adventurer.
What does that mean? How can there be no such thing as a retired adventurer?
There, you gotta be dead to be retired.
Or just not do it anymore. That's always a possibility.
If it invades their hometown, they're gonna defend their area.
Maybe he's not skilled enough to take on an entire gang of people. I don't know. I know Drana says he's a former adventurer. He always is spinning tales and such, but I don't know.
Tales of what? What do you look like?
Uh, long silver hair, about your height, built like a human.
And defining marks.
Um, let's see here.
Stop that!
What are you growling at? What are you growling at?
She's literally growling at the paper. Your issues.
He has a small scar on his cheek. Right here. Looks like a knife cut or something. His arm doesn't work the greatest. His right arm can't lift it past here. This is an old injury that never healed right. That's why he stopped being an adventurer.
Tattoos or anything?
No, none. Only barbarians get those things. Sailors and barbarians, and we're too. No sailors come here.
Nobody in town does tattooing, I take it.
Well, no one in town, at least. Just the barbarian tribe that lives to the north.
So what are the odds of seeing an elf with a tattoo?
Slim to none. They usually don't do things like that, from what I've heard. Why, you looking to make some money? I know there's a reward for dealing with the orcs.
I just want to know what I'm looking for, because we might be going to talk to Dran or Darn or whatever the fuck his name is.
Well, now you know. I'm gonna go see if I can talk some sense into that oaf before he does anything stupid.
He's too drunk.
I'll sober him up.
Do I want to know?
He's a cousin.
I want to get him out of the mines. I wasn't lying when I said he doesn't have much longer.
He gets up and leaves. Go to Town Master Hall if you're interested in dealing with those orcs. I know there's a reward of some type. Is your character going to try one last time to get a woman?
Mm-hmm.
Make a charisma check.
19.
19, more than enough. You can easily grab a woman and talk her into going back to your room for some last minute fun. Aside from that, is there anything else you're doing for the remainder of the night or in the morning before you leave?
No, just as I leave, as we leave, I'm gonna tell them everything I heard.
In the morning, are you going downstairs first, or are you going straight over to the rooms to make sure that they're up and awake? And
Downstairs first to grab our food so nobody else takes it.
the food is down there. And from your druidic training, it looks like it's going to be a decent day for travel, although it's still dark as fuck outside. Come back up. When you come back up, you can hear Tybalt just moving around in his room. As you see him opening the door and he's stumbling out a little bit. He's got all his shit on, but he just doesn't look awake.
Food's in my room if you want some.
Oh, good. It is far too early for this. Where's that rum? Rum will wake me up. He goes into your room and starts fishing through your water skin. Opens it up and smells it. It is rum, right?
He has rum and water.
He'll find the one with rum. Oh, there, this should wake me up. Takes a swig of rum. Oh, there we go. A few moments later, you see the wizard, fully equipped and such, walk out. I'm good to go.
And this baby Jason's gonna be running around.
Huh? What the hell do you mean by that?
Did you get with the whore?
Yes, I got with the whore. Does it matter?
Fine, I won't ask.
Did you? I saw you were chatting one up before we all left.
Then I got distracted. Then I got a different one.
Considering we're dealing with Bazin tomorrow, an experienced fighter, smart move.
I found out there's a orc problem.
Orc problem on top of a goblin problem, or do you think it's orcs and goblins?
I think it might be both.
Because goblins and orcs tend to work together quite a bit.
Well, there's some orcs trying to put a raid in on the east. And from what I could tell, Gran is not Griffin.
He's not?
No.
Well, that's one thing in our favor then.
No tattoos, sober hair, scar on his face, right side. Oh, and only barbarians to the north and seamen get tattoos. I noticed a tattoo on the elf on his chest.
It's not normal for elves to have tattoos. They tend to steer away from that, you hear from Jason, adorning their bodies with jewels and eloquence is normal for them. Adorning their bodies with inks is
It looked like an
nigh
arrow.
on treason.
Looked like an arrow to some degree. It was tribal-ish.
Well, I got my spells prepared. That's what I think I'll need. I can swap them out if I need to, but so you're thinking that Crython being a tattooed elf was actually just a half elf in disguise from a barbarian's clan?
Half-elf and barbarian to go well together. I'm thinking he's from Waterdeep.
It is a coast town.
There's no tattooers in this town. Or anywhere up.
Well, Bazant hired him, effectively. Sildar hired him, but Bazant was the only one that saw him directly before we did. Not to be trusted, I don't think. Because the thing is dead. As with Bazant, we need to be on our toes when we get close to him. And you're going to take off under the cover of early morning darkness.
Before I leave, I'm attaching the 2 rabbit skins to my armor pauldrons.
Okay.
I'm being a druid. I'm adorning myself with druid cred.
You go outside and start walking towards where you guys separated ways. As it's already been worked out, you can get there in about an hour. See where you guys parted ways. The bloated, decomposing stench of the horses is extremely present by this point.
It's weird the carrion still haven't gotten them. They must have been poisoned.
They're not being pecked at. You hear from Tibbles. They're not being pecked at, then they probably were poisoned. Animals, from what I've seen, don't tend to go to things that they're not supposed to eat.
Well, the horse has already said white tipped or black tipped arrow means slow death.
Alright. So we need to find Bazant. Kyron, you hear from Jason? You're up. You're the one that can follow this path and track it back.
I'm meeting Jason's eyes and looking over where we buried the body. God, those horses stink.
Yep. So, is your character going to try to refine that trail?
Yep.
It's not too hard. Make a survival check for me if you wish to do that.
I'm assuming you guys know what an oak leaf looks like.
Yes.
Remember he said he'd leave us oak leaves as a trail.
Yeah. Branches, you said.
Twigs and leaves, yes. And this is a what? Survival?
Survival. So do you have the skill survival?
Yes.
So roll it and add your bonus.
20.
20 without bonuses?
Yes.
More than enough. You can easily find the trail. Give me a second. I'm just checking a couple things.
I told you on the way there I was explaining what I heard last night to them. You didn't hear me. Okay.
This town has a lot of problems from the sounds of it, but I think maybe they're all interconnected. Gangs, goblins, orcs, half a map. Obviously, it's all intertwined. Well, I'm talking loud so that way.
No, but X-May on the Acme.
It's all connected. It has to be. You hear from Jason. It's got to be all connected to some way.
Look at Jason. And Infernal. Do you speak Infernal?
Let me just do it as he speak. Back in Infernal, yes. Why? You hear an Infernal from Tybalt. Told you.
At least we have commonality.
Yeah, well, a universal language between the three of us here from Tybalt. I speak numerous languages from Jason. Common, Draconic, Elvish, and Infernal.
Common, Draconic, Infernal.
Common and Infernal from Tybalt.
You need to learn Draconic.
No. I will be the odd man out. I swear.
By your tail and your pink skin.
I am red, not pink, as he whacks you on the shoulder. As you go down the way a bit, even your character with your passive perception can notice something. About 10 minutes down the trail, you see a snare pit, a snare trap has been set up. You can easily spot it.
A big snare trap or a rabbit-sized snare trap?
A snare trap designed to catch people. You can easily see it. Tybalt seems to spot it. Jason seems to spot it.
With my stick.
It triggers. Let's keep going. You're from Jason. That's goblin shenanigans. Goblins like to lay traps, lay in wait, ambush.
I say we have free rope. I'm cutting it down.
Tybalt puts his hand out. Roll, wraps it up, takes his backpack off, hooks it to the other side of his backpack so he has his 50 feet plus another 20 feet. More rope is more rope. More rope is always good. Never go wrong with having too much rope. It's true.
You must have had a good whore. You're happy.
I'm very happy. And I did have a good whore. You keep going.
As long as you don't use your tail for your other one.
No, she did not.
Oh, they're real pointy at the end.
Shut up. And now I just need to do a little bit of math to find out how long it takes you to follow the trail and to where. So, as you're following the trail, you're looking at 1, 2, 3. So you're looking at 15 miles. 15 miles going cross country. Yeah.
Don't forget, Bassett is hurt. He wouldn't have healed entirely overnight.
Technically, you do. But then, after a long rest, you get all your hit points back.
I thought he took some serious damage, though.
You get all your hit points back.
That's stupid. What if you have like 263?
Then you get them all back after one full thing of rest.
That's stupid. That's like, I just went in for open heart surgery. Da, 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 I slept for 8 hours. No.
Yeah. Which is why I think what I might do is change that rule to use the variant rule from the DMG where a long rest is constituted as 7 days, but go back to old 4th edition and 3rd edition for spellcasters where every day they get their mana back or they get their spells per day back because it is spells per day.
Not spells per sleep.
Not spells per 7 days, because if you go by that variant rule, then wizards and spellcasters don't get their spells per day back until 7 days, at which point they really can't cast anything at all. So I'm going to go under the rule of a short rest is still a short rest. It's still 1 hour, because you're bandaging yourself up, you're stitching yourself shut, you're tending to your wounds. A long rest to get your hit points back is 7 days, and you get 1/7 of your hit points back every day if something happens in the middle. And wizards and such get their spells per day back at the start of a new day after a full 8 hours.
I can even understand having them have half of their mana because they're sick.
So, how much damage did Bazin take?
He only had 2 or 3 hit points left. He healed back up 6 of them, though.
Yeah, so he was at. That's right. He was at 10 hit points, and he has another 12 hit points to go. So divide by 7, 1.7 a day. He only gets a day, so he only goes up by another 2 hit points. So that's what he'll be at.
And would he have used his instant heal thing?
He did that the other day. Oh yeah, he would have used his recoup. Now, when you use your recoup, you can get after a long rest, you get half of them back. So if you only have one per day after a long rest, you get your one back. But if you have two of your tend to your wounds, after one long rest, you get half of them back.
A long rest being a week?
A long rest being a week. So you get one effective 1 hour instant heal.
A week.
And then the next week, you get the other one back. So if you want to be full, you need 2 weeks of downtime to get them both back. So he is level 2. He got that level. He has already used one, which he's going to do here, and he'll still have one more available to him if, for whatever reason, he gets to benefit from it. So he will get back another 7, bringing him up to this.
If he uses it.
Which he is. So he's almost full. So, after another 10 minutes down the trail, what's your passive perception? 15, right? 13? You don't notice it.
15's the wizard.
But
you farted. I heard it that time. Don't blame it on the dog.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was me that time. Chasten all of a sudden grabs you by your effective, like, robes and jacket and such, as well as Tybalt. Just grabs the two of you and stops you both.
Snare.
Pit trap. Points to it.
Jab with staff.
Treasures and all falls in. Keep going. You go for about another 10 minutes, and then you get your first oak leaf branch pointing in a direction.
He wants us to find him.
Apparently. When you follow it, I take it. Dawn is approaching. And because it's nighttime, you don't really spot things very easily. But because you are on the lookout, you can make a perception check. The wizard can make a perception check.
Tybalt has dark vision.
Tybalt will automatically notice it.
This is a what check?
Perception. If you have the skill perception, you can use it.
I don't.
Otherwise, it's just wisdom.
And I have wisdom as a proficiency. But that doesn't mean anything.
No, not. You're not making a
18.
save. 19? You spot it. Oh, 18? You still spot it. You see Bazant. Looks like he's just getting ready to stir fairly soon, probably within about 10 minutes. You see his small little camp that he made for himself. The last trails of the embers are gone. It still has the little trails and wisps of smoke coming up like it only went out about 20 or 30 minutes ago.
Is he wearing his armor?
He wears, what was it that he wears? He wears ringmail armor. Hell no, he is not wearing it. You cannot sleep in ringmail armor. You see it next to him. The only thing he has next to him, he has a shield next to him, and he has his sword next to him, as well as his great sword.
Looking over at Tybalt.
Tybalt spots it automatically and just does this. You see it?
An infernal. Yeah, I see everything.
The wizard, I'm not seeing it, and I don't want to cast light. You see him?
Yeah. Bazant's there. His ringmail's to his side.
I'd rather not use my actual magic on this. I want to stick with my cantrips as much as possible. How do you want to play it?
You can go over and pick up his stuff and say we're helping. Help him get rest. stupid.
I'd say we don't help him do anything. We're catching him without armor. You hear from Tybalt. A fighter of his caliber with no armor, we need to go in, we need to hit hard, we need to get him down.
So you're thinking hit hard right now.
You don't trust him.
No.
You were talking to me about how you don't trust him and you got shot in the chest by Crichton.
We need his information.
Yes, we do. And if he gets tipped off that we're tipped off, and we help put his armor on, we just made our job twice as hard.
I didn't think actually. Okay, we need to stop talking because he's gonna wake up. Tybalt, you have the rope?
Yeah, we can secure him once we knock him out. But we need to knock him out.
How bad do we want him knocked out?
Bad. He's the only one that knows what's going on.
I'm grabbing a stick.
What are you doing?
Pummel.
Is it an actual spell?
Yep.
You
Tree
hear from the
branch.
wizard, do you really want to cast one of your actual spells? Stick with your cantrips. We don't know what else. Well, then go in and hit him with a breath weapon.
That'll melt his face.
Okay, go in and hit him with a stick.
This will guarantee he's knocked out.
Are you sure you want to waste it? What if we need your magic later?
Alright, I'll take one. I'll bite the bullet. Grab my stick. My quarterstaff.
Just, we don't know what else we're going to be doing today. Using up some of your mana already? Not wise.
Passing my living metal scimitar back to Tybalt. You follow me. If he starts doing anything, get his ankles.
Give me a second. You see Tybalt waves his hands in front of his face a little bit, traces a sigil in the air. You actually see this flame red brand traces itself in the air and then flares for a moment and then descends. And you just look at him and go, all right. Goes up.
Could have brought it ahead.
And
I have my quarterstaff.
make a stealth check. If you don't have stealth, it's just dexterity. Reason why he casts Blade Ward. In case everything goes sideways and he gets a random hit, he takes half damage for one round. So in case things go sideways,
Do I get anything for
dexterity. Unless you have,
I have nature.
that's for knowledge nature. You have to have skills for moving silently.
Why don't I have those?
Because you don't have the proficiencies for them. This is not 3rd edition D&D where you have like 50 skills. Rogues know how to stealth. Tybalt has a 14.
19.
You have a 14, he has a 19?
No, I have a 19.
You have a 19. And what is this guy's passive perception?
12.
His passive perception is 13. So, nope. You don't wake him up. And you can coup de grace him. Coup de grace works this way. There is no more such thing as coup de grace.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
They've changed it.
I give up.
It's not 3rd edition.
I'm trying.
You have an advantage on your attack roll. And your attack roll is automatically a critical hit for damage. So, because he's effectively incapacitated, he can't defend himself, you have advantage, and you get to roll critical damage.
I think that's an 18.
And that's fine. So, you hit, and because you hit, you get critical damage. So, what's the damage of your weapon?
4d6.
So, you always double the amount of damage dice. So you get 2d6 plus your strength modifier.
3 plus 5. Where's my damage?
8, and then your strength modifier.
Oh, you said damage modifier. 2, so 10.
So 10 damage, so that takes him down to that. So, yeah, that fucking pummels the shit right out of him. And Now everything goes to a full proper initiative. So roll your initiative, just your d20 plus your dexterity modifier. 19. And he has that. And Tybalt has a 13. And Weezard has an 8.
No, it's a Hizzard.
Hizzard. So Bazin gets to go first as he just got pummeled.
Tonk.
And there's not a whole lot he can do. He gets cracked fucking hard. He's on the ground, so
He's prone.
he can stand up and draw a weapon. He wouldn't be able to do any move actions.
His weapons aren't on him.
They're next to him.
That's
So.
not draw, that's pick up.
And then he can attack you. Does he want to grab the shield? He doesn't have double weapon fighting, so that would have to take 2. He will stand up, taking half of his move. He will grab his great sword while standing up.
Oh, 1 second, my phone's going nuts.
Who is it?
Darlene.
And he's slashing at you with the great sword.
You're gonna have to pause because Darlene wants to call.
I will then stop there, people. We're 2 hours and 16 minutes in. We'll stop there for the first half of this evening's game. Stay tuned for the next half.